Hey guys, welcome back to Converse with Coco. Thank you for joining me again. So this session I wanted to talk about acceptance. So I'm going to get right into it. I did mention last time that I became addicted to attention, affection, and acceptance from a very young age, about 6 years old. And I looked for acceptance in every single person that I was around. And what I learned much later in life was that I looked for acceptance in everyone except for the person that I needed it from the most, which was myself. So self-acceptance was not achievable for me until I learned that I was never going to be perfect. And I had held myself to such impossible standards for so long that self-acceptance really was not even something on my radar when I started my journey of recovery and of mental health, mental wellness. So I was looking on the outside for what I needed on the inside, which was acceptance. And it was also attention and affection, because I did not give myself any affection, and all of the attention that I gave myself was negative. I did not pay attention to what I really needed. Instead, I just focused on my desires and my fears, and I let that run my life. So my perception of how others viewed me was skewed by my own self-judgment. And what I mean by that in talking about self-acceptance is that I thought that the world saw me the way that I saw me, that I was too tall, that I didn't stand up straight enough, that I was annoying, that I was obnoxious, I wanted all the attention, all the things that I had told myself from a young age. I believed that everybody saw me that way. And a lot of my actions were out of fear of what other people thought of me. And I didn't stand up for myself for a very long time because I didn't want to cause people not to like me, and I didn't want to upset anybody. So there is really a balance between standing up for myself and accepting who I am and letting other people run all over me. So, that's something that I have learned throughout my journey. But the first thing that I had to do for self-acceptance was give myself grace and kind of reverse the golden rule. So, of course, the golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so I had to do unto myself as I did unto others. I never put other people down just because they made a mistake. I didn't tell people that they were worthless or that they were never going to make it and they might as well not try. When they didn't follow through with their commitments or their plans, I didn't ask people repeatedly what was wrong with them and speak to them in degrading ways, but I did all of those things to myself. Reversing the golden rule was something that really helped me with my self-acceptance. And another thing that helped me was knowing that I was accepted by other people, and most importantly by my higher power. So for me, that's what everything boils down to, is learning that I was accepted and that I was loved by my higher power, who I choose to call God, exactly the way I was, in all my flaws, with all my past mistakes and present and future mistakes, that I was still loved and loved very deeply and wholly. Every single part of me is loved by God, even the dark, shadowy parts, even the parts that I don't like to share with others, even the parts that I'm ashamed to share with myself. Those parts are loved as well. So knowing and learning that I was accepted by God was a huge part of my self-acceptance journey. And then I would like to also talk about different types of acceptance. And this is just my interpretation of the word acceptance and the different types. So there are two types of outer acceptance, being accepted by others and accepting others. And that includes behavior and choices and who they choose to be around, how they choose to live their lives, and vice versa, how I choose to do those things. The thing, being all of me being accepted by others and all of others being accepted by me. So there's outer acceptance, there's inner acceptance, which I have spent a good bit of time tonight talking about. That's self-acceptance. There is situational acceptance, which is recognizing my powerlessness over so many things that happen in my life and understanding and learning how to be okay regardless of what happens. So I do believe that is a special type of acceptance. And there's also what I like to call vertical acceptance, which is accepting that my higher power is in control. So that type of acceptance is difficult for me because I prefer to be in control, or rather have the illusion that I am in control, because that seems to calm my fears, if only for a little bit. And I used to operate my entire life based on the premise that if I had control, or if I had the illusion of control, then everything was going to be all right. So I've had to change my definition of what can and can't or will and won't happen for me to be all right. And I've really simplified it down to, I have breath in my lungs, I have people who love me and people who I love, and most importantly, I have a relationship with my higher power. And if those things are in order, then I'm going to be okay. And something I like to say is just for this moment, because I can live moment to moment and not freak out about what happened yesterday or what might happen tomorrow. And that helps me to stay present and to stay grateful, and not what some people call future trip. So, going back to acceptance, there's another type of acceptance that I have learned about, and it is constructive. That's what I call constructive acceptance, is giving in to change or growth. And change and growth can be very scary for me. So I tend to resist those things. I tend to resist authority sometimes. When someone tells me what to do, or tells me that I need to do something, I like to buck against that. And I say I would say rather, I've created a habit and a pattern of bucking against that. So that constructive acceptance is very helpful for me to finally, once I realize that I'm doing it, and usually once I realize that it's causing me some type of pain, finally give in to that change and that growth. So all these types of acceptance are really helpful for me in my mental health journey. And the Google, I would say Webster, but let's be honest, this is 2025. So the Google definition of acceptance, one of them is the act of taking or receiving something offered. And I like looking at it like that, because when it comes to outer acceptance, if somebody says something to me or does something in their own life that I don't agree with, or that doesn't make me feel happy, I can accept what has been given. I can take that, and I can choose to take the good from it and leave the bad, or I can choose to pitch a fit and see where that gets me. So I like that definition, but I really like the second part of the definition. If you Google acceptance, it says acknowledging or embracing reality without resistance or judgment. And it says acknowledging or embracing reality, sometimes a painful reality, without resistance or judgment. That right there is a definition of acceptance that I have come to appreciate and come to understand as I have been on this mental wellness path. So I do think that acceptance goes hand in hand with three other things that I think I need to practice all four of these together. Acceptance, I believe, goes hand in hand with surrender. That's giving up whatever I've been holding on to, giving up whatever I need my higher power to take over, whether that's anger, whether it's fear, whether it is pain. That's surrender. And sometimes I have to ask God to literally take something from me. I say, I surrender this, and will you please help me to let it go? Because I'm not very good at surrender sometimes. I could be very stubborn. Another thing that goes hand in hand with acceptance is prayer. As I just said, I have to ask God to help me to surrender and to help me to accept things. And then I trust that God's going to give me what I need, even if I'm asking God for what I want. And the last thing that goes hand in hand with acceptance for me is humility. And I will have a session where I talk about humility, but for the sake of tonight's session, I would like to say that I think that goes hand in hand with acceptance, because I have to understand that I am not the center of the universe, that there's a bigger picture, and that I don't know what's best for me or anyone else sometimes. So that helps me to accept what's going on in my life, whether it's good, bad, happy, sad. It's easy for me to accept the good things, but it's a lot harder when it comes to things that do not match with what I want, is particularly at the moment, and things that are painful. So just for this moment, acceptance is a wonderful thing for me to practice, and it is practice. I will never be perfect at it, and that is perfectly okay, because that's not what my journey is about. It's about progress, not perfection. So drop a comment, let me know what you think about acceptance, if there are any other types that you would like to talk about or that you have learned about, and we will discuss that, and I'll see you guys next